Today we will be solving multi-step equations. First, we're going to show you the easy way. You're going to undo addition and subtraction first. So you have a problem of 2x plus 3 equals 11. You're going to subtract the 3 from both sides. What you do to one, you need to do to the other. So you subtract 3 from here and you get 0. You subtract 3 from 11 and you get 8. You're left with 2x equals 8. You need to get x by itself, so you're going to divide both sides by 2. So you divide 2 here, you divide 2 over here. What you're left with is 4. 8 divided by 2 is 4. X equals 4. Rules for solving equations. Your goal is to isolate the variable. Undo operations with their opposite operation, and you always do the same thing to both sides of the equation. To better understand, we're going to be watching a video next.
Solving two-steps equation. In this problem, we will be solving for x, and that means to get x by itself. To start off, we must get rid of this minus 6. Now minus 6 is the same thing as negative 6, and to get rid of it, we must add 6 to change it to 0. And if I add 6 on one side of the equal sign, I have to add 6 on the other side. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. Negative 86 plus 6 is negative 80. Now, since minus 6 is gone, I'm going to rewrite my problem. I end up having 20x equals negative 80. This is 20 times x, and to get rid of this 20, I would have to divide by 20. I divide by 20 on one side of the equal sign. I have to do the same thing on the other side. 20 divided by 20 is 1. So I get x by itself. And negative 80 divided by 20 is negative 4. X equals to negative 4 is my answer, and this completes my problem.
So now I'm going to show you how to solve two other problems. We're going to solve 5x plus 4 equals 39. So what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. We're going to subtract 4 from this side, and we're going to do the same to the other side. So 4 minus 4 is 0. 39 minus 4 is 35. We are then left with 5x equals 35. Now we need to get x by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by 5, leaving us with x equals 7. Over here, we have x over 3 minus 4 equals 2. So to get x by itself, we're going to start by subtracting or adding the numbers to both sides. So on this problem, we are going to be adding 4 to both sides. So negative 4 plus 4 is 0. And over here, 2 plus 4 is 6. We are left with x over 3 equals 6. So to get x by itself, we're going to have to do the reciprocal of x over 3. So since that is a division problem, we are going to have to multiply it. So we are going to multiply both sides by 3, leaving us with x equals 18. Now we're going to watch one more video.
We have the equation negative 16 is equal to x over 4 plus 2, and we need to solve for x. So really just need to isolate the x variable on one side of this equation, and the best way to do that is first to isolate this whole x over 4 term from all of the other terms. So in order to do that, let's get rid of this 2, and the best way to get rid of that 2 is to subtract it. But if we want to subtract it from the right-hand side, we also have to subtract it from the left-hand side, because this is an equation. If this is equal to that, anything we do to that, we also have to do to this. So let's subtract 2 from both sides. So you subtract 2 from the right, subtract 2 from the left, and we get, on the left-hand side, negative 16 minus 2 is negative 18, and then that is equal to x over 4, and then we have positive 2 minus 2, which is just going to be 0, so we don't even have to write that. I could write just a plus 0, but I think that's a little unnecessary. And so we have negative 18 is equal to x over 4. And our whole goal here is to isolate the x, to solve for the x. And the best way we could do that, if we have x over 4 here, if we multiply that by 4, we're just going to have an x. So we can multiply that by 4. But once again, this is an equation. Anything you do to the right-hand side, you have to do to the left-hand side, and vice versa. So if we multiply the right-hand side by 4, we also have to multiply the left-hand side by 4. So we get 4 times negative 18 is equal to x over 4 times 4. The x over 4 times 4, that cancels out. You divide something by 4 and multiply by 4. You're just going to be left with nx. And on the other side, 4 times negative 18, let's see, that's 40. Well, let's just write it out. So 18 times 4, if we were to multiply 18 times 4, 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 72. But this is negative 18 times 4, so it's negative 72. So x is equal to negative 72. And if we want to check it, we can just substitute it back into that original equation. So let's do that. Let's substitute this into the original equation. So the original equation was negative 16 is equal to, instead of writing x, I'm going to write negative 72. Is equal to negative 72 over 4 plus 2. Let's see if this is actually true. So this right-hand side simplifies to negative 72 divided by 4. We already know that that is negative 18. So this is equal to negative 18 plus 2. This is what the equation becomes. And then the right-hand side, negative 18 plus 2, that's negative 16. So it all comes out true. This right-hand side, when x is equal to negative 72, does indeed equal negative 16.
I hope that this tutorial helped you and the videos, and that you better understand solving multi-step equations.